Hello, ActiveSage here on the Sage channel, and I'm here to talk about a rather minor grievance I have with the latest update to Space Engineers. But it goes beyond the latest update, it's more of a complaint about the way the game is moving into the future. The latest update itself was actually very competent. It changed around the menu in mostly a logical way, it went ahead and tweaked a few other things, and one awesome thing it did was added explosions to reactors on a few other components. Now these don't actually damage your ship, but they do blow up when they reach 0 health pretty much, which is really dang cool. But something they did do, and this is the thing that worries me, is right here when you click on New Game. It brings you to missions, and this is something they've been actually working towards for a long time. I heard Tazu speaking about it ages ago, and little murmurs here and there about the idea that they wanted their game to have more direction. Instead of just a sandbox game where you hop into the world and your main object is whatever you set it out to be, they've been sort of hoping that they'd be able to set forth a mission. And that's where the scripting stuff can come into play as well. The recent GUI scripting is stuff they added with the latest update as well. And I believe this is mainly talking about the dev build, the develop build that I believe everyone should have access to. Now, this is all fine and all, but I think maybe the better way to go is something similar to Minecraft. Because Minecraft, when you say new world, well, you're just planted in a beautiful, customizable world to start out and survive, and you progress by upgrading your tools and setting your own path in the world. And that's how pretty much every single game works when it comes to survival. Now, this could be a way for them to innovate and actually move around beyond that and have a set path for you to go on, since if you're sticking New Game right at the top, that means that this is what you're wanting everyone to experience in this game. This is the main objective for your game, is that you're going to have missions here. And this is going to include, of course, workshop-made missions. Now, with Minecraft, player-made little goals, objectives, and missions became very, very popular. So this could actually turn out to be a fantastic thing where people will create their own missions and put them up on the workshop for you to grab. The only problem is, I do worry this is a move away from what I think pretty much any awesome sandbox game should be, which is simply a beautiful sandbox where you can set a goal and you can move towards accomplishing it and having a great time doing that, even if that goal is simply to go mine out a massive planet or build yourself a tower on another world. And right now, yes, you can do that, but it still feels like a very incomplete game. They're currently going through and reworking a lot of the art assets, which will help, but as for actual game mechanics, there's still some very basic stuff that needs addressing, such as tiered tools, which mods have been doing. But I still stand by the point that a mod should not be the go-to way to play a game. You should be able to play a game such as vanilla Minecraft and feel like there's a whole complete flushed out game experience right there without having to install a second mod, a single mod, honestly. And right now, if you still want to go ahead and do custom game, which I believe should be the default game, where you start out and you set yourself a goal and accomplish something, that's now the very bottom option of new games. It's even below multiplayer. It's below loading a game you already have, which would presumably be one of your new games, or continuing game, which will just load up the last one you had. Again, continuing game seems to point towards the idea of simply being a single player experience or something like that, or at least a story driven experience, which I honestly, well, I'm fine with existing and I'm fine with being a big part, but I don't like the idea of it being a main part. Anyway guys, I just wanted to get that out there, express my worries about this, because I do find it very disconcerting when they end up going into, well, we'll do load game here and let this load up a little bit. Still waiting. There we go. When you go ahead and try to edit a world, and you find that they have, well, a mess of different features here, but they have some odd features that often don't seem to work like wolves that can eat through buildings. What's the point of these? Why are there super wolves? Spiders, which is, by the way, last I checked, disabled by default. Why have an actually interesting enemy if you're going to have it disabled? a few other things. What is it? Enable oxygen and airtightness. Airtightness is a fantastic feature, which actually adds some interesting stuff. There's not anything that really utilizes it right now, but work towards adding more features. That way you can build up to something. Have large ships where it's very useful to have your helmet off all the time, and you can have airtightness where everything is just going to be running itself around. You sit down in your cockpit and you can run 1,000,000,001 machines. As it stands right now, you cannot use a drone to place and start new structures. In fact, last I checked, drones don't even have the horizontal bar when you're in a planet's atmosphere. Give us more progression paths, more actual game mechanics, and don't continue to say, well, it feels like the game's done enough. We're going to just go ahead and instead of fixing lag with larger mega ships, we're just going to go ahead and say you shouldn't build them, and we're going to stick block limits on everything, because that's what they recently did, is they said, hey, here's some block limits, so if you want to build something that's even vaguely decent in size, that's about all you're going to be able to build on a single server per person, and hell, where you might even have limits for the whole server coming in the future. I understand this to prevent people from building 1,000,000,001 megaships on a server and crashing the server, but it still is very disconcerting that such a thing seems to be their answer to performance instead of actually making the game perform better. Once again, that's that. I just wanted to share my concerns with the way this game seems to be going, as if they're pretty much calling it feature complete from the looks of it, and just hoping that the mod community builds up enough mods to actually finish out the game instead of, I don't know, adding a bunch of actual life forms, more than 3 planets, and giving us better space combat and whatnot. I guess the combat's decent, but look at turret collision volumes, they're still a joke, as much of a joke as such a collision volume that's the size of, 9 blocks can be for something that should be just 2 blocks. Dear me. It is, very disappointing to me. Anyway, guys and gals, that's that. Thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Ta-ta.